Good morning.
Morning.
We're on our way to Sydney, and the first thing we need to do when we wake up is get some coffee.
Get some coffee.
So we've got a few things to do around the house, including finishing packing up. The kids are really excited. We're really excited. And that's all I've got for you right now.
One of the first things that I did when we decided we were going to go to Sydney was to check out the flight prices, and we actually found it really affordable even from our little regional airport. So I got tickets through Jetstar. Now obviously we're only taking 3 of our 5 kids on this trip, but it still would have been worth it even if we could have taken the other 2 with us. I didn't obviously pay for Hamish, but our return flight for everybody was under $500. Part of that was because we only had 1 piece of checked luggage and everything else was in our carry-on, so that's why you see the girls with their backpacks. So we've arrived in Sydney, and the first thing we did was buy an Opal Card, which made getting around Sydney really cheap and affordable.
Hey everyone, guess where we are?
We made it. The flight went really, really well, and we just caught the train out to Circular Quay, and we're going to drop our bags off, and then we're going to head to Tesla. You go to Tesla? Yeah.
So the whole reason we actually decided to do this trip at this particular time was because we were able to see the Tesla Model 3 in Australia. It was a left-hand drive, but it's essentially the car that we were going to get. So the first thing we did was just drop off our luggage at this baggage place. But let me tell you, Circular Quay is just the perfect place to start your trip. You can actually get free tours and everything down there, so it's a great place to start. Here we are at Tesla. It was an amazing day, and even though we waited in the line for a very, very, very long time with 3 children, being part of that and seeing other Tesla enthusiasts and people who are really passionate about sustainability really added to the excitement of our holiday. We had a great trip and we made some great friends in the line, particularly because we had to leave early to pick up our luggage. They actually let us go in front of some people, and they were just so kind. And everyone at Tesla, they're so passionate about the vision and showing off the car. So if you're in Sydney any day, it's a great place to stop by if you're interested to see what Teslas are, and you can always check out the Model S and the Model X, and very soon the Model 3. Where we stayed in Sydney was actually at an Airbnb. We stayed at 2 different Airbnbs over our time there. And so to get to them, the first Airbnb we stayed at, we would just use the ferry, and it was amazing.
Today we're here at the Opera House in Sydney. We've had a great day at the Darling Quarter. Did we play at the Darling Quarter?
Yeah, fun!
And as you can see, the Sydney Harbour Bridge is behind me, and we're just enjoying time down here at Circular Quay before we head back to our Airbnb. It's been such a nice day, but travelling with kids is not for the faint of heart, let me tell you. We are very tired, but there are so many beautiful moments, even though it's sometimes overwhelming. Speaking of which,
So here we are travelling back to our first Airbnb on the ferry. We just used our Opal cards the whole time we were there, and we spent a total of $180 for all of us to travel on public transport the whole time we were in Sydney. So I highly recommend, if you're going to be travelling in the city a lot, that's a great way to do it, getting an Opal card. We also found this fantastic park right in the centre of the city, and it actually ended up being right near our second Airbnb. So there's this little secret garden which is down near Darling Harbour, and it it was a great little pit stop for the girls. They could be a little bit more noisy, they could run around and explore things. So when you're traveling with kids, little stops like this, if you're not on a time schedule, they just help the day go much smoother. So this is called Darlington Quarter, and in the summer this place would be even more spectacular because it has a huge water playground where the kids can interact with all the water. There's another little fountain just to the left that the kids can play in, and there is an amazing playground. It has a 3-meter slide, it has a flying fox, these cute little tunnels that the kids can go in and out of. We actually only filmed on 3 of the 5 days that we were here, but every day we came back to this playground because, you know, after the kids were getting tired or they'd had enough of, you know, even if we were doing fun things, that this was just a great place. They could get out some energy, they could be noisy without bothering anyone, and they just had an absolutely amazing time. So we had a problem at our first Airbnb where we had to leave after the second night, but Airbnb was so fantastic. They refunded our money straight away. They helped us to find another place, and we actually ended up finding a place in Chinatown in Sydney, and the entire amount that we spent on accommodation was just under $500. So between the flights and our accommodation, we spent just over $1,000, which was just fantastic for a large family. I highly recommend Airbnb. Even though everything didn't run smoothly, they still did everything they could for us, and it worked out so well to have a washing machine, a dryer, and a kitchen. It just made the food so much cheaper, and I was able to pack less clothes, which then meant we didn't have to pay for checked luggage. So all those little things add up. Now on the third day, we went to Taronga Zoo, and it was such an amazing day. If you are going to Sydney, I highly, highly recommend it. That view looking out when you're on the sky rail is just absolutely breathtaking. I actually shopped around for our tickets to get to Taronga Zoo, and it cost me $110 for a family pass, which, given the cost of zoos in Australia, that is really very, very reasonable. So it worked out just over like $25 per person, and like we just had the best day there. It's such a well-planned zoo. If you want to do the sky rail more than once, as long as you're prepared to line up again at the other end if it's busy, you can go on it as many times as you like, and our kids absolutely loved it. It made a really nice end to our day once the kids were tired to be able to look over the zoo again, but it was such an amazing day, and I would highly recommend going. So one of the things that I like to do is allow my children to use money their own way. So we did stop at the gift shop at Taronga Zoo, and when they would ask for other things on the trip, I always said, we're going to stop and we're going to get something special at Taronga Zoo. So they were able to pick something from there. They've got a little keepsake from the holiday. We're not buying a lot of stuff we're not going to use, but they did have something that they chose themselves from this trip. Taronga Zoo is really, really well set out for families. You can just work your way from the top to the bottom. These meerkats were absolutely Hamish's favourite thing at the zoo. He absolutely adored them. We spent a long time with him just standing there chasing meerkats because they were so cute.